the top stories has to do with the price of petrol, diesel, and other fuels going up from tomorrow, Wednesday, in South Africa, March the 1st, just as the Dangote Refinery in Nigeria announced an upward review of its gantry petrol price late on Monday. Now, more fuel importing African economies are expected to, of course, ramp up their prices in the days and weeks ahead if the ongoing war in the Middle East push oil prices to $100 a barrel, according to some analysts. Let's get straight into the conversation, the war and oil conversation. My guest out of London, Professor Ken Ife, is a development economist and a public policy analyst. A great evening to you, Professor. Thanks for making time to join us this evening on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
The London Brent, I'm sure you see that, $80 a barrel. What are you hearing about where oil prices is going?
Boston is just going to be unpredictable because we're looking at $82 as of today. And there are projections that it could go to $100 to $120. And that is not far-fetched because even if the war stops today, the ripple effect will continue for another 1 or 2 months. So it's going to be a long wait, honestly, and the price is going to hurt. It's going to hurt.
It's going to hurt. So, how much impact of the war and its economic consequences will impact African economies that depend on imported petrol, diesel, and other fuels?
Yeah, this is the worst part of it because how many refineries are working in Africa? It's Nigeria, it's Dangote Refinery, South Africa, not many. And so even last year, almost $100 billion in imports of a variety of fuel-related products and 20 billion last year just on PMS alone. So it's not, and we're not even talking about good quality fuel because we have places like Malta where they call it special African blend. And they bring it, either you get it in Lomé or somewhere, but that's what they are being dished out to all these African countries. Nigeria inclusive, of course, and we are battling with those substandard fuel. So it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. Prices are going to go up, and then it's going to also destabilize the central banks all over Africa that are now heading where we are expectant of lower inflationary pressure and then also bringing down rates. That's all those are going to be affected. It's going to be very tough going forward.
Interesting when we try to contextualize Dangote Refinery for me under the president spreading Iran conflict with regards to the feedstock in crude that this company will need. And then the gantry prices, as it were, according to sources, Dangote Refinery will need about 13 vessels of crude to refine. But just about 5 of that or so is being supplied by the NNPC. Is the refinery caught in a crossfire, as it were, right now?
I think it is. And then we must recognize and do appreciate that Dangote has actually been doing so much of subsidizing Nigerian fuel, both the logistics side and the fuel prices. Look at what happened in 2024 December, where he maintained the price and we didn't have all that queue, the price was, and then that cost him over $10 billion. Then you now have December 2025 and coming forward, where he put 1 trillion naira in 4,000 CNG trucks just to de-risk the transportation and storage side of the distribution chain. So he's done that, not because he's expecting any profit, but he wants to bring stability in that system so that you don't have, and then also don't forget that he has capacity to hold fuel for 1 month. And he assured Nigeria as in November that is going to be the case. So he has tried so much to maintain prices, but we need to be aware that he's in business to make money, even though he's thrown in everything that he could. Now let's look at the supply side, the chaos in the supply side. According to OPEC, we have an allocation of 445,000 barrels a day because of local processing. Now ask NNPC about that. They're going to tell you they don't know about that. Then secondly, you have PIA that says you must satisfy domestic crude obligation before you export crude. Where are we on that? He requires 13 ships just to do the Nigerian component of processing, but he's only getting 38%. Now, but he actually needs for the overall capacity, he needs 20 ship loads, to include the export, which he needs to export to help him subsidize the local consumption. But he's not getting any of those. What is he getting? Even as NNPC gives him those small mega things, they still charge him a premium of about $3 per barrel. And then the rest of it that he has to get from third-party marketers, oil marketers, is paying as much as $6 premium on top. So for 82 naira, $82 crude, he is going to be paying them $88. So I mean, and I have argued many times over the last 3 months that NRS should put a 5% tax, upstream tax, for non-DCO compliance. That is, those fuel that are not supplied to him, they should tax those. And that brings in extra $5 every per barrel to state government, to federal government coffers. But if that argument doesn't fly, then we're going to have other approaches, because they can't eat their cake and have it. You cannot collect this fuel at those prices and take the premium and then fail to declare those. So we're going to come to them. There's no hiding place. They can run, but you can't hide. So there are many things that are there. Okay, look at the supply side. 20% of the global supply is going to vaporize away because of the closure of the Straits of Hormuz. And then, of course, you also have the Suez. So that's going to create panic. It's already creating panic because they are beginning to attack some of the vessels that are not taking heed to the warning. Now, what is going to happen is that some of the more hungry countries, like China, may actually come to Nigeria offering them silly money to buy our crude. So the price is going to go up and keep going up. So the 100 naira extra he's just added on petrol is just a peanuts. It doesn't equate to the quantum of the rise in the price of the crude that is refined. And don't forget, we're not comparing like you like.
Yeah, I'm just asking about, because I want us to talk about the realities, and those are the realities you're talking about. Because now you've got the vessels trapped around the Strait of Hormuz, some of them trying to go through the Suez Canal. It's not really safe. Iran is looking at whether Egypt will be the next target. If that happens, the Suez Canal was not likely going to be available as well for vessels. So that means that logistics is going up. The price of insuring the oil vessels is also going up. In fact, some international oil insurance companies say they're not going to insure oil vessels, at least for now, based on the situation on hand, because no one is sure where Iran will go, which is retaliatory attacks and all of that, perhaps some collateral damage. So the reality is that if Dangote Refinery will need crude feedstock from outside Nigeria, the time they will arrive, the price and the cost at which they arrive will definitely make petrol prices go up. Do I get that correct?
Yes, the price is a moving target. So that is a problem, because they tend to charge the most current price.
Yes.
The most current price, because it's about replacement costs. If you dispose your crude, your price, refined products at current price, then it means that you have, and then it's going to be going up. It's such a tricky situation, because they have to reflect that immediate price. If it is $82, you have to reflect it immediately and not say, oh, because I bought my crude last time at $68. No, it doesn't work like that, because you have to think about replacement costs. So that's why it's very, very, and this guy is just absorbing the cost. He's absorbing all that cost. And then just because he has his heart in the right place doesn't mean that we should let him run out of business. And there are other things too. Now, if you look at the price of Nigerian PMS compared to Saudi, that does more than 4 times our volume anyway, Nigerian PMS is 5% cheaper than Saudi Arabia, even with their VAT added in Saudi Arabia. Now, it is 40% cheaper than Ghana, and it's almost 70% cheaper than Senegal and Cote d'Ivoire. So the impact of this is that At one moment, we thought we were doing 33 million litre in a per day. Now it's 50 million litre, but now it's actually 60 million litre. So which means that a lot of our fuel are crossing the borders. So what's he going to do? What do you want this man to do? Is he going to go fighting all these other African countries, neighboring countries? So we need to be apprehensive of the circumstance that he's facing as an honest broker. And the worst part is that why would this company not receive the crude? Why would he not receive the crude? And I keep saying to the president, last year, middle of last year, both Senate and House of Rep passed a bill on 30% mandatory value addition on our raw materials before export, crude inclusive. So we should not be arguing about making crude available to local refining capacity. If you keep doing this to Dangote, what are you going to do to the $50 billion refinery coming in Ondo? What are you going to do to Bua, 200,000 barrels? What are you going to do to more refiners? It's just unfair. Okay. So I think the government, and I appreciate the president for decapitating NNPC with this is Executive Order 9, because that means you are going to reduce the waste. Yes. Because, and then more money will come on shore for the 3 tiers of government. Yes. But he should take it to his logical conclusion to ensure that the discipline is maintained.
It's quite a whole lot to deal with right now, and this development is just unfolding. We appreciate your time this evening, Professor Ken Ife, development economist and public policy analyst out of London. Thank you so much for your time. We'll check back with you as things continue to move within the industry. Thank you so much.